What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns podcast. I'm your host, Justin, giving you the 5 keys for the Bulls to win tonight against the Spurs. Last night was a great game against the Lakers. We got to keep that momentum going. We can't lose to the Spurs. Last year, that was a big problem for the Bulls. They would get a big win, and then they would drop a game to a garbage team. The Houston Rockets come to mind. That was one of the most disappointing games last year where the Bulls had some momentum, and then they lost to the fucking garbage Rockets last year. But tonight we got the Spurs. I guess they're kind of a test. Wemby is generational, so you can't take him lightly. But here's 5 keys for the Bulls to pull out a victory tonight. Key number 1, DeMar DeRozan has to make quick decisions. We saw that yesterday. I really liked what I saw from him in the second half of that game yesterday. DeMar is going to isolate. I see people on Twitter saying, we can't have any isolation from DeMar DeRozan. That's just not how he plays basketball. And that's not how anybody plays basketball. Every team, not every team, but a lot of teams do have isolation scores. Even the Lakers, LeBron James, he isolates. He just does it in the flow of the offense. So we got to see that from DeMar DeRozan. He made pretty quick decisions last night. My problem with him in the Sixers game that was driving me nuts is when he isolated, he was literally holding the ball for 20 seconds while nobody else touched the ball. Last night, his isolations only took about 5, maybe 10 seconds at the most, and he was getting to his spots quick, making it happen. If he's isolating like that, I'm fine with him isolating. Point number 2, Kobe White has to be on the attack. He needs to get 15 shots, which I need to start upping this up because he's averaging about 17, 18 shots every game. He's not getting under 15 shots anymore. Even last night, his shots really weren't falling, but he kept attacking, and that's what we need to see out of him. Even if his shots aren't falling, I still need him to show that confidence, to show that all-star, that all-NBA confidence that we've been seeing from him lately, and I need him to be on the attack all game. They just don't have the point guards to keep up with him. Trey Jones is a decent point guard, but he's not a defender. Devin Vassell, not a defender. Keldon Johnson, not a defender. So Kobe needs to be on the attack. He needs to push the pace. He needs to look for his shot. Point number 3, same thing with Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams needs at least 10 shots today. He needs to be on the attack as well. Patrick Williams, he's been aggressive lately. It's been nice to see. He was pretty aggressive in the first half yesterday, and then he kind of disappeared in the second half. We've seen that a little bit from him this year, but he needs to be on the attack every single game this year. He needs at least 10 shots tonight. He needs to make the Spurs pay. Point number 4, we got to attack Wembanyama. Wembanyama, he is generational. He's going to be a multi-time defensive player of the year in the NBA. I saw him in person about 2 weeks ago, and the thing that stands out with him is he still has a lot to learn. He's still out of position on the defensive end a lot. He still hasn't really figured out the nuances or the speed of the NBA game. So the Bulls need to take advantage of that. They needed to do it last night against Anthony Davis, challenge him in the paint, try to get him in foul trouble. They needed to do it the night before with Joel Embiid. When you have these rim protectors, these big bigs, people think that you got to avoid them, but really you got to put your chest in them. You got to attack them. Yeah, you might get blocked a couple times. AD had 3-4 blocks last night, but a lot of the time you can attack them, you can get them in foul trouble. They're not going to block you every single time. So Wembanyama needs to be attacked on the pick and roll, needs to be attacked on dive cuts. They need to just attack the dude. And Vooch needs to attack him too. They're most likely not going to put Wembanyama on Vooch. He's mostly been playing the 4. And they've had Zach Collins and some other 5s filling in, putting size next to Wemby. But if Vooch gets Wemby in the post, he needs to bully him. Same thing with Andre Drummond. And that's point number 5, the last point here. Andre Drummond needs to play at least 15 minutes tonight. This is a good matchup for Andre Drummond. The Lakers were a good matchup. The Sixers were a good matchup. These teams like the Lakers, Sixers, Spurs, who still play traditional 5s 99% of the time, they are good matchups for Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is a very effective player. Once he gets about 20 minutes, you start seeing why he's not a starter in the NBA anymore. His flaws start to shine through a little bit more. But that 15-minute mark is kind of the sweet spot for him. That's when he's really playing his best. So those are the keys tonight. We need Kobe attacking. We need Patrick attacking. We need quick decisions from DeMar. Attack Wembanyama. And Andre Drummond needs to play at least 15 minutes. I'll be back tomorrow with a post-game little quick video on this. And we got a new pod dropping this weekend. Make sure you're following us on Spotify, following on Twitter. On Twitter, it's @HornsBloody. And let's go Bulls tonight.